G'day folks, welcome back to Delboy's Garage. Alright, now next thing to do on the bobber, got the shiny side panels painted, working on some ideas for the rest, but just for now, as I mentioned just in a previous episode, I've got some plans for these exhausts. Don't like these buckshot heat shields. They're kind of a Screaming Eagle aftermarket accessory, and I think they're a bit Roy Rogers if you ask me. They're not very cool. The originals would have been chrome, and my mate Kerry changed them for those. I think that's just working with what was available. Personally, I think that the style of the bike, the bars and so on, I'm kind of going the bobber styley. So I think the wrapped pipes is the way forward. Now I've never really liked the wrapped pipes as you see them in that kind of yellowy cream parchment or painted black, because they just look a bit rough and rat. But I found this pretty cool wrap which I'll show you in a bit. So these are coming off. May work, may not work. These may go back on, but they won't go back on in this satin black. Something else will abound. Don't know, maybe they'll get painted, but for now they're coming off and I'm going to wrap the pipes. So I'm not going to make a long-winded one out of this or a four-parter or anything like that. I'm going to just do this tonight. So do the back one first, I'll do the front one. First job is to take the heat shields off and then get the pipes off so that I can do them off the bike. And there's a reason why you do them off the bike, because you just can't do them when they're in place. There's too many brackets and bits and bobs in place. Can't get a good tight wrap on them. So going to get this all stripped off first. Whoops, get prepped up and let's see what happens. I've left the silencer on because I'm going to wrap sort of up to this edge from there all the way forward, including the cover or the bracket, and then this bracket. They're all going to get wrapped in all the way up to the top, so it's one smooth wrap all the way, which will look quite nice. So the first thing, bucket of water. Any cloth, and I don't care what it is, stretches when it's wet, and if you stretch it you get a nice tight wrap, and then when it dries out hopefully it will shrink back and you'll get a lovely finish. And what I've got isn't the usual parchment-y stuff. I've got some of this. It's this green carbon look effect. It wasn't a lot more money. I think this for 10 yards, 10 meters, come to about 30 quid, which was about a quarter as much again. It would have been £25 for 10 meters of the beige stuff, fiberglass, and it's 2 inch as well, so I can wrap it with a little bit less overlap. So that's lovely. And I've got these stainless steel cable ties or wrap ties. They're pretty cool. There's an interesting thing there. The guys that sold this had these available for I think it was 10 quid for 8, and I got 10 there for 3 quid. It's just weird. Shop around, get yourself a deal. So they came from a separate supplier and they're fine. They just nip on, zip them up, clip them off, job done. So never done this before, don't mind admitting. Seen it done loads of times. It isn't difficult. I'm just going to do the first one. When that's done I'll show you the second one. So let's see how we get on. Right, so there's the first pipe done. Just did the rear one first, and I kind of like that. It's a lovely finish. It's got a sort of sheen to it, like satin, which is pretty cool, and it does stretch like buggery. Put it on, just give it a good old yank, and it just gains loads of length and stretches, and it's just rock tight now. And it's wet still. I'm going to leave it to dry naturally and shrink back, and when it's almost dry I'm going to start it up that way. Started there to cover everything. It's given the pipe a bit of girth as well, obviously, because I've wrapped it at about half its own self, so each time it's covering itself, and you just get a nice wrap then. I've got the Jubilee clips from the old heat shields, and I've used one there and one right up in there. These little ties, they work fine. I think they just feel a little bit wimpy, so I've used them as support pieces, and I've managed to wrap one underneath there and one underneath there, just to kind of hold it all in place to give it extra strength, and then you can wrap over it because I want them hidden, don't want them all showing. So that's what it looks like done. Another good point, which I see over and over again, even seen videos on here with workshops wrapping these things, they wrap them for some reason from the top down, which is just bizarre, because then all these edges here are actually that way up, and then when the weather's coming this way as you're driving that way, all the wind and weather and crud is going kind of in there and it's going to fray. But on these they're the other way on. So the overlaps are that way, effectively, so that the wind is going over them and slipping over them, the wind and the rain and the weather. So when you wrap them, always wrap them from the back forward. That way the overlaps, the water slides down them. It doesn't get underneath and start eating and eroding into it. Just seems to be better that way. Seems to be more common sense. Anyway, going to crack on with the second one, whatever, and show you what happens. Okay, it's been soaking in the bucket. Trim the end off, fold it back on itself, just like that. Start there, bring it round, and I'm just starting on the flare, just there. And what I'm going to do is a little cheeky trick with one of those ties. In a minute. It is the first wrap, the first turn, that's the hardest. Just getting it exactly where you want it. I guess all you guys watching this who've done it before are probably laughing your pants off right now. But hey, I'm learning, baby. Right. Did this on the last one and this works. Just going to hold that there. Grab one of these steel ties, and this is going to be a little stealth tie, a little hidden one. Just going to bring it round on itself. It's a bit cack-handed because you got to kind of do it, but you can just put your thumb on it, and this is going to be hidden. It's not it's not actually these, to be honest, I don't think they're strong enough to actually hold the job done. I think these are good for intermediate holding and to hold it in place while you make it, but in the end I'm putting Jubilee clips over them because you can just lean on them. Keep that underneath. And to do these up, just need a tool for a sec. There it is, all the time. Just grab that and just hold it against that. Get a little bit of weight on it. That's it. Now that holds okay. Decent pair of scissors. Because a crap pair just won't cut it. And just snip that off. So that's your start point held. And I can flare that, just lead that in underneath that swage, then go back over it. And over the top of that, so it won't be seen at all. And that's held tight. And at the end, that's going to get a Jubilee clip put over it, which will hide anything there. Now, just a case of wrapping it on itself. And when you overlap, you can just see, make the bulge where the last wrap was halfway, and just pull it down. It's in the bucket there. If you roll the pipe and hold the tape stiff, then you can keep the pressure on it the whole time. As you can see, it's a bit of a barn dance, but it's got to be worth it. Okay, coming up to the next little obstacle now is this. And what I'm going to do is come inside there, and then straight over the top of it, going back to my half size, half overlap I mean, straighten that out. I've seen a few of these on different bikes, really ugly, messy wraps, and it just looks pants. So if you can take your time, make a half decent job. Seems to me that doing the last one just now, the secret is to get it tight and it will stay put. If it's loose and baggy, it's going to just go all soggy and fall off. Just coming round the bend, it's important to make sure that they're all even, because it's just little things like that that make a difference. And that's not. So you see there, perfect example. It's not quite on the half its width. I want to go on each one. On the inside it's almost on top of itself, but that's as it should be. Just keeping them about half wrap apart each time, lapping up to where the bulge is. Okay, coming up to the O2 sensor now. Just go sort of either side of it. Get a few little bits of it coming off, little tatters, but you just trim them off afterwards, just where you're stretching it. And this is time for the little trick again with the wire clip, which I'm going to pop one in there. Just to hold it in case an end ever comes unravelled. If it's got a clip a few wraps down, it's not going anywhere. Amazing little clips, really are, truly amazing. Just stay where they're put. Never used them before. Stainless steel, just snip off and you just come around, take another pass around it, cover it up. Easy peasy. Right, that's it pretty much. I'm just going to have a little trim up. Now some of it here, this is the overlap from what I tucked inside, so it's just like a little bit of trimming. This won't pull and fray because it's like the end that's tucked underneath that just flared out a bit. There's clips under there and under there, but I'm actually going to use Jubilee clips for these because I think you just need to. Just stronger, it's going to last longer in it. These clips look great and I think they work fine, but not like a Jubilee clip. So just do that up gently for now because I don't know where I'll be able to get hold of the head by the time it's fitted. Same with that one. Okay, time to poke them back on. Lead back through. Okay. Just do up the head. Again, same as before, don't lean on these bolts. You really don't need to, it's just a little crush washer gasket. They seriously don't fall off because they're bolted on lower down. That's it. That's all you need to do. Get your socket back. That's it. Bolts underneath. And that should be it. Do them up on their link plate. And that's it. One set of pipes wrapped. I think they look the biz. There we go. Job done. Wrap pipes. I think they look quite different to the usual white bandagey stuff. It's kind of silky and they're still wet. And let's see what happens when we make them hot. There they are. After about 15 minutes, finally stopped steaming as they've dried out. Got very light. Not so sure I love the colour, but the great thing is with this, you can just paint it with exhaust paint, and that also stops them fraying as time goes by, because everybody knows who's had these things, has had wrapped pipes, that it is a finite thing. They aren't everlasting, and as time goes by and weather and battering with rain and wind, they will eventually fray up and start to look tatty, and that's not the point. So that's when you get an exhaust paint and just paint them, and then you can pick your colour. But at the moment they're like a silvery, greeny, combat, khaki something, and I quite like them. One set of wrap pipes. I hope you liked them. That's how easy it is. Now you can do yours. Thanks for watching Delboy's Garage. See you all next time.